Chapter 78, Kyoya versus Azazel. When Azazel agreed to the spar, Rias's face was etched with worry. After all, Azazel was the leader of the fallen angels, a being equal in status to her brother, Serzex, and his power, needless to say, was that of the strongest fallen angel, one who had survived the great war of ancient times. So, Rias quickly turned to Serzex for help. Oni-sama, Kyoya is going to fight Azazel. Although Serzex was surprised by Kyoya's decision, he remained calm and smiled at Rias. Rias, I'm here. Don't worry. Hearing this, Rias breathed a sigh of relief. To avoid causing too much damage, we moved to an open area outside the city. Serzex and Seraphil jointly created a powerful barrier. Everyone stood at a safe distance, watching the impending battle between me and Azazel. Excalibur. Without any further ado, I summoned my strongest weapon. A golden light enveloped my hand, and the legendary holy sword materialized in my grasp, its blade gleaming with a brilliant golden aura. A holy sword? And judging by its appearance, it's the sword of promised victory. At this moment, Azazel widened his eyes, a hint of shock in his heart. He hadn't expected me to summon a holy sword, and the legendary one at that. That's right, it's the sword of promised victory. But it's not time for you to be distracted. Here I come. I raised Excalibur Hyan with a slash. A golden beam of energy shot towards Azazel. The shockwave from the golden slash ripped through the earth, creating a storm of swirling energy. Azazel quickly raised his hand, and several magic spears of light appeared behind him. With a terrifying whistling sound, they met Kyoya's attack head-on. Boom! My golden slash collided with Azazel's light spears, and in an instant, a blinding light engulfed the sky. When the light faded, Azazel appeared before me, completely unharmed. As expected of the Governor-General of the Fallen Angels, you easily neutralized my attack. But, once again, I raised Excalibur high above my head. Suddenly, countless golden particles of light appeared around me, gathering within Excalibur. The sword erupted with a blinding light. Then I locked my eyes onto Azazel, who was hovering in midair, and swung down. Excalibur! A devastating beam of golden energy erupted, hurtling towards Azazel at an incredible speed. That power! In that instant, Azazel felt a hint of mortal danger. He quickly constructed a defensive barrier, increasing the flow of magic power to withstand my attack. However, my attack swept away everything in its path, leaving a bottomless chasm in its wake. Boom! The beam of light slammed into the defensive barrier. Although it was blocked, the force of the impact pushed Azazel back several hundred meters before he finally stopped. Seeing this, I dashed towards Azazel with a burst of speed, swinging my sword and slashing him. By the time Azazel stabilized himself, I had already brandished Excalibur, its terrifying magical power exploding once more as I struck again. However, this time Azazel summoned a sword of light and bisected my attack. Seeing that long-range attacks were ineffective, I decided to engage in close-quarters combat. As the shockwaves from our battle raged around us, the already scarred battlefield was finally shattered completely. As time passed, I realized I was starting to be at a disadvantage. This isn't good, I thought to myself. I lost interest in continuing the sword fight with Azazel and activated Dragon's Breath, spewing a torrent of crimson flames from my mouth. Caught off guard, Azazel was forced to retreat, his disheveled hair nearly scorched. He stared at me, bewildered. You had the aura of a dragon just now. What's going on? Aren't you human? I didn't answer. The reason I can use Dragon's Breath ice off course, because I fused with the true dragon bloodline. I calmed myself and sheathed the sword of promised victory. You're not using the holy sword anymore? Have you got something else up your sleeve? But that's fine too. If you could only defeat Kokobeel with a holy sword, that would be quite disappointing. Azazel looked at me, now sheathing the sword of promised victory, his curiosity growing even stronger. This is my first time using this technique. Azazel, enjoy it. After saying this, I activated Gate of Babylon, launching an attack on Azazel. Instantly, dazzling golden energy ripples began to appear in the sky, extending even behind me. In a moment, those energy ripples formed. Azazel saw it clearly. Exquisitely crafted weapons of various designs began to emerge from within the ripples. Each of these weapons radiated an aura of intense and deadly danger. Even more astonishing was that the number of golden ripples continued to increase until the sky within the barrier was a sea of gold. Suddenly, whoosh, 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 hundreds, thousands of weapons glowing with golden light shot out from the golden energy ripples. Their speed was like lightning, all of them aimed at Azazel, like a torrential downpour. What the hell? Are you kidding me? Are those all sacred gears? Even Azazel couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat as he saw this scene. Faced with such a dense barrage, Azazel had no choice but to dodge and block. Watching Azazel scurrying around like a rat, I couldn't help but feel a surge of satisfaction. The barrage from the Gate of Babylon continued unabated. Faced with this constant barrage, Azazel was growing increasingly frustrated. Damn, does this kid have an infinite supply of weapons? It's been so long, and there's no sign of it slowing down. After a while, when I heard the system notification that the task was complete, I stopped the attack. Then, the dense barrage of the Gate of Babylon gradually subsided. The golden ripples that had filled the sky faded away. I looked down at the figure below. Azazel was disheveled, covered in dust and dirt, and even had numerous wounds on his body. He looked utterly miserable. The scene was deathly silent. When everyone finally came to their senses, an uproar erupted. That was incredible. It was practically a one-sided beatdown. Kyoya managed to fight Azazel to this extent. Unbelievable. Down below, Rias's eyes were wide, her expression frozen in shock. Not just Rias, but the rest of the girls, even Surzex and Seraphol, were stunned by my power. Is that Kyoya's true strength? Aquino mumbled, unable to find the words. Wow, he actually beat Azazel to a pulp. What a monster! Seraphol exclaimed. Even the super devil Surzex couldn't hide his surprise. Chapter 79 Black Reward Straight to Death. The Mystic Eyes of Death Perception. Seeing Azazel's sorry state, Surzex was astonished. To think he could be pushed this far. I thought that even with the Sword of Promised Victory, he would only be able to fight Azazel for a short time. But, Kyoya, you've truly surprised me. Surzex was increasingly happy with his sister's fiancé. Azazel, looking at his injuries, couldn't help but grimace. He hadn't expected to be beaten so badly by Kyoya, especially since he hadn't been using his full power. Sigh, if Shemhazai finds out about this, I'll never hear the end of it. I guess I have no choice but to get serious now. Azazel sighed, resigned, then steeled himself, deciding to unleash his full power to salvage some of his reputation. Sensing the surge of magic power from Azazel, I couldn't help but marvel. As expected of a long-established, top-tier powerhouse, I still have a ways to go before I can match him. But now that I had completed the task, there was no need for me to continue fighting. I surrender, I declared, throwing my hands up in mock surrender. Huh? You're saying you surrender? Hearing my words, Azazel was completely dumbfounded. What the hell? I was just about to get serious, and you're giving up? Azazel stared at me in disbelief. That's right, I surrender. We're just sparring, so why should I keep fighting? I'm not an idiot. I just beat you up. I don't want to get beaten up in return. Besides, didn't you say you wanted to understand me better? I said with a shrug. My words echoed throughout the barrier, reaching the ears of everyone watching. Everyone was silent. They couldn't believe how shameless I was being. Even Azazel hadn't reacted yet. Suddenly, an inappropriate burst of laughter broke the silence. Ah ha 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 ha! Seraphol started laughing hysterically, her twin tails bouncing. Sona wanted to remind her sister to maintain her composure, but when she thought about what I had said and Azazel's expression, even she couldn't help but chuckle. Ha ha! I can't believe Azazel got played like that. I can't take it anymore. I'm dying of laughter. I have to spread this throughout the three factions so everyone can laugh at Azazel. Seraphol was laughing so hard she was clutching her stomach, tears almost streaming from her eyes. The other people present also had amused expressions on their faces. No one had expected me to surrender so abruptly. Azazel had been completely played, and it was hilarious. Meanwhile, Azazel stood in the center of the scene, feeling utterly despondent. When Azazel finally recovered, he sighed in resignation, feeling incredibly frustrated. He said grumpily, "Why, you little rascal, you're really shameless, aren't you?" I simply grinned and teleported back to the ground. At the same time, the two Mao removed the barrier. As everyone entered, they saw the devastation of the battlefield, a testament to the intensity of the fight. "Hey, Azazel, you look terrible," Seraphol teased, unable to contain her laughter at his miserable state. Hearing this, Azazel sighed helplessly. Meanwhile, I activated the black-grade gift bag I had received for completing the task on Azazel. Ding! Congratulations to the host for opening the black-grade sign-in gift bag and obtaining Mystic Eyes of Death Perception. Hearing the system's reward, my eyes widened in excitement. I hadn't expected the reward to be Shiki Ryugi's Mystic Eyes of Death Perception from the Garden of Sinners. The Mystic Eyes of Death Perception were one of the most powerful karmic weapons. Mystic Eyes of Death Perception. All things come from the root. Where there is birth, there must be an end. These mystic eyes can see the lines and points of death that exist in all things. When the wielder of the mystic eyes traces the lines of death on an object, it will cause irreparable and unhealable damage. Attacking along the lines of death would result in a certain death. Shiki Ryugi, who had awakened the mystic eyes of death perception, also had a classic line. "As long as it's alive, even if it's a god, I'll kill it for you." Although I had Madara's Rinnegan, Shiki's mystic eyes of death perception were even more overpowered. From now on, even against the strongest and most resilient enemies, as long as I could see and sever their lines of death, they would be completely defeated. Although the mystic eyes of death perception were ineffective against beings on a higher plane of existence and required close proximity to cut the lines of death, their power was undeniable. Then I plucked a flower from a nearby bush and switched to my mystic eyes of death perception. When I opened my eyes, I saw various red lines clinging to the flower. I gently traced the red lines with my finger. As I expected, the flower, which had been vibrant and alive just moments before, instantly withered. Seeing the power of the mystic eyes of death perception firsthand, I couldn't help but feel like I had struck gold. After a long while, we returned home. Azazel, through Rias and the others' explanations, learned about Kokabil's plan in Kuo Town and expressed his deep apologies. But upon hearing about Kiba's balance breaker, the holy demonic sword of twin supremacy Azazel became extremely interested. Oh, a fusion of holy and demonic power? What an incredible mode! May I meet this Kiba? I'm very interested in his sacred gear. After some discussion, Rias's father, Zeoticus, and Evelyn returned to the underworld using a magic circle. As for Surzex, he had originally planned to stay and chat with Kyoyo all night, but because there were no rooms available at my house, and because of Azazel's request, and also because he wanted to learn more about Kiba's sacred gear, Surzex had no choice but to go to Kiba's house with Azazel to stay the night. However, the most troublesome one at the moment was Seraphol, because she resolutely refused to return to the underworld, making Sona extremely frustrated. Seraphol even used me as an excuse, claiming that I had promised to film a magical girl video with her, so she had to stay. In the end, Seraphol got her way. Seeing her goal achieved, Seraphol turned to me, excitedly urging, "Quick, let's hurry up and film the magical girl video." Duh. Chapter 80, Shooting a Magical Girl Video with Seraphol. Seeing Seraphol practically begging to be taken advantage of, how could I refuse? So, I directly invited her to my room. "Come on, Seraphol, come to my room. I'll show you some amazing videos." Hearing my words, Serafal blinked, a hint of suspicion in her eyes. Amazing? Why do we have to go to your room to see something amazing? You're not trying to trick me, are you? To this, I found an excuse and continued to entice her. Hey, why would I trick you? Wouldn't it be embarrassing if Sona found out we were filming a magical girl video? Wouldn't she stop us? Serafal thought about it and nodded, agreeing with my reasoning. Then I led Serafal back to my room. After a while, excited voices could be heard from the room. Oh my God, this is amazing. Don't stop, keep going. A flushed Serafal was staring intently at the video playing on my phone. The video was of an anime magical girl. Seeing the movements and costumes in the show, Serafal felt like she was looking at herself. Then Serafal grabbed my phone and made her request. Kyoya, I want to film this. I smiled knowingly and replied, no problem. Change into your outfit first, and I'll film a video or we'll take some photos of you. Then we can send them to the TV station. That way, you'll have a better chance of getting hired. Really? That's great. I'll change right now. Hearing this, Serafal jumped up excitedly, but then she looked at me a little shyly. You go outside first. I need to change. As soon as Serafal said that, the atmosphere in the room became a bit awkward. I smiled, staring at Serafal. You already promised to share Sona with me. We're practically family now. Why are you shy about changing in front of me? Hurry up and change. Serafal's eyelids twitched. Although what I said made some sense, she still felt like she was falling into a trap. After thinking for a moment, she still changed into the magical girl outfit in front of me. I watched her, my eyes feasting on her beautiful body. Even the system notification that the task was complete went unnoticed. I have to say the girls in DxD world are of the highest quality, I thought, admiring Serafal's figure. Serafal noticed my gaze and blushed, her heart skipping a beat. He's quite handsome. No, what am I thinking? She scolded herself. Serafal quickly shook her head, but a faint blush crept across her cheeks, and her expression became a little bashful. Then, Serafal, trying to regain her composure, said, how do I look? I walked over and sat down next to Serafal. She jumped a little in surprise. I looked at Serafal with a burning gaze. Even though Serafal looks cute in this outfit, you still can't hide your sexiness. Serafal's heart couldn't help but flutter. All right, I'll take some great videos and photos of Serafal. I'll make sure you look amazing. I stopped pressing Serafal. After all, slow and steady wins the race. Then I took charge, personally guiding Serafal, making her pose in some rather seductive poses. Yes, just like that. Hold that pose. Oh, this is perfect. Serafal was making such alluring poses, and though she looked at me, she had no words to form a rebuke. She could only blush and let me play with her body. After half an hour, I finally finished my masterpiece. Looking at the results on my phone, I was extremely satisfied. But just in case, I also took some more conservative photos to send to the TV station. As for the collection on my phone, that was for my personal enjoyment, of course. After all, she was my intended wife. After putting away my collection, I looked at Serafal, who seemed utterly drained. Suddenly, I had an idea. I squeezed Serafal's small face. Splat. Serafal's face instantly turned red, and her heart started pounding. Then, forcing herself to sound composed, she asked, "What are you doing? Be careful, or I'll hit you." Serafal, I have a great idea. It will not only increase your chances of getting on TV, but it will also improve your relationship with Sona. I said mysteriously, but Sona-chan would never agree. You don't know her personality. Normally, yes, but if you cry, whine, and threaten to harm yourself, she'll definitely agree, I whispered in her ear. Feeling the warm breath on her ear, Serafal blushed, but she listened intently. First you do this, and this. Then you do that, and that. Finally, meanwhile, Sona was alone in her room when she suddenly sneezed. Achoo, am I catching a cold? But why is Wani-sama taking so long? What exactly are they doing? Sona couldn't have imagined that her sister was plotting with Kyoya to deal with her. After explaining my plan, I smiled at Serafal. I've told you everything. Whether or not you can appear on the TV show with Sona is up to you. No problem. Leave Sona-chan to me. After receiving my teachings, Seraphol confidently stuck out her tongue and replied. She rushed out of the room, eager to put our plan into action. Seeing Seraphol leave, I smiled knowingly. Not only had I completed the task, but I had also deepened my relationship with Seraphol. Sona, don't blame me, I thought to myself. I'm looking forward to seeing you and Seraphol perform together as magical girls. Now it was time to open the rewards. System, open the reward. Ding. Black Grade gift bag opened successfully. Congratulations to the host for obtaining. Chapter 81 God of the Bible and the Emperor Beast 666. Ding. Black Grade gift bag opened successfully. Congratulations, host, for obtaining one space-time travel card. It seems I've obtained something incredible. Since it's related to space-time, it must be something like teleportation or time travel. System, explain the function of this card. I commanded. Ding. The space-time travel card allows the host to travel to any point in the past within the current world. Hearing the system's explanation, I still had some doubts. System, if I were to travel to the past, wouldn't my extended absence cause problems in the present? Ding. The host doesn't need to worry. When a host travels to the past, time in the present world will be temporarily frozen until the host returns. Therefore, there won't be any impact on the present. I was relieved to hear that. It sounded quite interesting. I pulled out the space-time travel card and, looking at it, crushed it. The shattered card emitted a blinding light, and then a strange blue, swirling vortex of time and space appeared before me. Looking at the vortex, I muttered to myself and stepped into it. My figure vanished. I wonder what time period I'll end up in. This is exciting. After a moment of disorientation, I arrived in a dark and silent place. An invisible force seemed to press down on me, making me feel uneasy. Suddenly, I heard a roar that sent chills down my spine. I used my senses to scan the area and discovered two incredibly powerful auras locked in fierce combat. One aura radiated holy light, while the other was filled with a murderous, tyrannical energy. I instantly realized where I was. See, could this be the time of the Great War between the three factions? If I wasn't mistaken, the owners of these two auras that were causing me such immense pressure were the strongest god in the DxD universe leader of angels, the God of the Bible, and the other was definitely the equally exceptional Emperor Beast of Apocalypse 666. I couldn't believe I had actually traveled to this point in time. I should stay back and observe for now. I'm not strong enough to get involved in this fight, I thought to myself, cautiously approaching the battlefield. When I finally reached the battlefield, I was stunned by what I saw. A monstrous beast, over 1 kilometer in size, was locked in combat with a being of pure light. The beast's body was a grotesque fusion of various creatures, and it had 7 heads. One head was like a dragon, another was like a leopard, another was like a bear, another was like a tiger. But the most striking feature of the beast was the 10 horns on its head, forming a crown-like structure. And on that crown, I could clearly see 3 numbers. 666. This was its name. It was clearly recorded in the Bible's book of Revelation. It was the Beast Emperor 666, the one that had destroyed ancient times and represented the apocalypse in several eras. On the other side, the God of the Bible radiated pure, holy light. Although it was dazzling, it gave me a feeling of warmth. But the next moment, when I saw the God of the Bible's appearance, I was stunned. It was a petite girl with long, golden hair that cascaded down her shoulders, shimmering like sunlight. Her eyes were clear and bright, as if they could see into the depths of one's soul. She looked incredibly cute, almost illegally so. The God of the Bible is a lowly? I gasped, my mind reeling. It took an explosion sometime later to snap me out of it. But thinking back to the fan theories from my previous life, and considering the enthusiastic and action-packed and female character-focused nature of the DxD world, I quickly accepted this reality. But I can't just stand here and watch such a cute, lowly goddess die. Just as I was thinking about how to help the biblical lowly goddess, the system issued 2 new tasks. Ding. Discovered target character. God of the Bible. Task grade gold. Task condition, change her fate of death. Ding. Discovered target character, Beast Emperor 666. Task grade gold. Task condition, defeat, seal, or kill. This is perfect, I thought to myself. However, although I had already reached the Mao class, and with the true dragon bloodline I could hold my own against a super devil for a while, I was still utterly outmatched in the face of the God of the Bible and the Beast Emperor 660 SXS battle. I couldn't help but sigh. It seems I have to use my trump card, but I'll observe for a bit longer first. Watching the clash between the lowly goddess and the Beast Emperor 666, each collision of energy unleashing massive explosions, I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. Powerful, I murmured, awestruck. As expected of the top strongest beings in the DxD world, the aftershocks of their casual attacks were enough to make me use all my strength to resist. Then I summoned Excalibur and used its power to create a defensive barrier for myself. But to my surprise, sensing the holy aura of Excalibur, both the lowly goddess and the Beast Emperor 666 paused their fight momentarily. The lowly goddess was a little surprised because she could sense the holy aura emanating from Excalibur. The Beast Emperor 666, as the embodiment of tyranny and darkness, loathed this kind of bright, holy aura. One of the Beast Emperor 660 SXS heads suddenly turned towards me, its eyes locking onto mine with terrifying intensity. Then, a torrent of blood-red energy gathered in that head's mouth, and it fired a beam directly at me. The destructive red energy obliterated everything in its path. Its power was such that even the current top 10 strongest beings in the world would have to go all out to defend against it. And this was just a casual attack from one of the Beast Emperor 660 SIXS heads. That thing attacked me just because it sensed the holy sword. Seeing the rapidly approaching red beam, I gripped Excalibur, tightly preparing to block. Chapter 82, teasing the biblical lowly goddess. How wonderful. The moment the crimson beam of destructive energy reached me, I unleashed the full power of Excalibur, meeting the attack head-on. The instant the golden slash collided with the crimson energy beam, boom! A deafening explosion ripped through the air, sending powerful shockwaves in all directions. Engulfed by the earth-shattering blast, my figure vanished completely. When the smoke cleared, my figure gradually reappeared, but my clothes were tattered, and I looked quite pathetic. Damn, is this the power of the strongest beings in this world? No wonder there are only a few beings who are beyond transcendence. Their power is simply outrageous. In the world of DxD, the strongest was undoubtedly the Great Red. Next was the adorable Ophis. These two could be considered to be the true peak of power in this world. And while the biblical lowly goddess and the Beast Emperor 666 were weaker than those two, they still belonged to the highest echelon of power. Below them were the transcendent gods and super devils, the two heavenly dragons, and so on. Even those beings could easily destroy the earth. Sigh, it seems I still have a long way to go before I can reach their level. I couldn't help but feel a little discouraged. From a distance, the Beast Emperor 666, seeing that I hadn't been killed by a single strike, its pupils reflecting unprecedented ferocity. Roar! With a mighty roar, the Beast Emperor 666 charged at me. Despite its nearly 1,000-meter-long body, it moved with surprising agility, its speed so great that it was practically invisible, the ground beneath it cracking with each step. The Beast Emperor 660 SXS speed was astonishing, leaving afterimages in its wake. Even hurricane-force winds whipped up behind it. Even I was surprised. I hadn't expected this creature to be so fast despite its enormous size. Caught off guard, I could only stare in disbelief as the Beast Emperor 660 SXS7 maws, filled with razor-sharp teeth, lunged towards me. It was too late to react. Then, with a flash of killing intent in my eyes, I was about to activate when suddenly a holy light appeared before me. In the next instant, a torrent of holy attacks rained down. Boom, boom, boom. The Beast Emperor 666 didn't even have time to react before it was bombarded by this barrage of energy, its entire body engulfed in the resulting smoke and explosions. The roars of pain from the Beast Emperor could be heard within the smoke. I deactivated my Rinnegan and looked up at the biblical lowly goddess in the sky. I hadn't expected her to save me at the last moment. Human child, it seems you are the one recognized by the sword of the planet. However, this battle is not something you can participate in. Please leave immediately. Then, the biblical lowly goddess's voice rang out. Her voice was clear and melodious, with each word seemingly carrying an infinite tenderness. So cute. The lowly goddess is too cute to be real, I thought as I beheld her up close, slightly dazed by her adorable form. What? Lowly goddess? The biblical lowly goddess froze in midair. She was the strongest goddess, revered and respected by all. No one had ever dared to speak to her in such a way. She had found my initial comment about her being cute a little strange, but she had maintained her composure. But the second I called her lowly goddess, she snapped. The biblical lowly goddess clenched her small fists, her face puffed up in anger as she glared at me. You dare speak to me with such impudence? I am not a lowly goddess. You human, stop giving me such ridiculous nicknames. Hearing this, I rubbed my head sheepishly and apologized. I'm sorry. I just couldn't help myself. You're so adorable. The biblical lowly goddess's expression softened slightly, and she stared at me intently. But just then, that sneak the Beast Emperor 666 suddenly attacked. A giant pitch-black claw lashed out, its power seemingly capable of tearing the sky itself. Crap! Faced with the Beast Emperor 660 SXS attack, the lowly goddess was caught off guard and was directly struck by the claw, sent flying. And before she could recover, the Beast Emperor 666 pressed its attack, quickly gaining the upper hand. Seeing the biblical lowly goddess being pushed back repeatedly, and seeing the defensive spell in front of me, I couldn't help but feel moved. She's protecting me, even while fighting that monster. It seems I've made things difficult for her. What have I done? Then, with my magic power surging, I unleashed my complete body. Its form nearly 1,000 meters tall, rivaling even the Beast Emperor 666 in size. Blue magic power erupted from my body like a torrent, engulfing everything around me. As the magic power burned furiously, I had undoubtedly reached the level of a transcendent/super devil. The lowly goddess and the Beast Emperor 666, who were still fighting, were once again drawn to my sudden burst of power. Seeing the massive system, even the lowly goddess couldn't help but be a little surprised, while the Beast Emperor 666 seemed agitated. Without giving the Beast Emperor 666 any chance to react, I raised the 100-meter-long greatsword and slashed down, sending the massive Beast Emperor 666 flying with a single blow. The Beast Emperor 666, sent flying, roared in fury, as if it wanted to destroy the entire world. I controlled, then looked at the adorable and non-threatening biblical lowly goddess and smiled. Hee lowly goddess, let's do this together. The lowly goddess pouted, her face red and puffed up like an angry kitten. I told you not to call me lowly goddess. I muttered under my breath, sigh. Why doesn't she like this nice nickname? Hearing this, a dangerous glint flashed in the lowly goddess's amber eyes, and she stared at me intently. Seeing her murderous gaze, I coughed nervously, then put on a serious expression. Ahem, allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm Kyoya Hibari. Since you don't like lowly goddess, how about I call you Holy Chan? Or just Holy? How does that sound? The lowly goddess looked a little exasperated, then she stared at me with amusement. Holy Chan. Holy. That's acceptable. You can call me that from now on. Ever since she was born as the strongest goddess, no one had dared to address her so casually. But it seemed Kyoya had the audacity to do so. But it felt kind of interesting. Chapter 83, Unkillable? Let's try the mystic eyes of death perception. The lowly goddess didn't seem to mind my teasing. In fact, she seemed rather amused by it. Looking at the now-recovered Beast Emperor 666, I suggested, "Holy Chan, I'll provide support. You look for an opportunity to inflict a serious injury on the Beast Emperor." The lowly goddess continued to attack the Beast Emperor 666, while reminding me, "The Beast Emperor's is only slightly weaker than me. Are you sure you can handle this?" Hearing the lowly goddess's concern, I just smiled. Don't ask a man if he's up to it. Just watch and see. Then, I activated the Gate of Babylon. The dark sky was instantly filled with dazzling golden ripples. Moments later, countless exquisitely crafted noble phantasms rained down like arrows, targeting the Beast Emperor 666. The noble phantasms pierced the void, moving at incredible speeds. The Beast Emperor's 660 SXS body was enormous, and it didn't bother dodging this kind of attack. As a result, a large number of noble phantasms struck its body. Boom! Boom! The Beast Emperor 666 was enveloped in a massive column of light, and explosions rang out one after another. However, I knew that this level of attack wouldn't be enough to seriously injure the Beast Emperor 666. So, the barrage from the Gate of Babylon was just a distraction. The real killing blow would come from the lowly goddess. I had to create an opportunity for her to severely injure the beast. While the Gate of Babylon was still bombarding the Beast Emperor 666, my Sisu began to charge its attack. The four giant swords of Sisu rapidly accumulated magic power, and with the addition of countless bolts of lightning, the aura of destruction radiating from it grew stronger and stronger. He has this much power? Unbelievable. Seeing the power gathering in my Sisu, even the lowly goddess's expression changed. Roar! Sensing a hint of danger from my aura, the Beast Emperor 666 roared furiously. It stopped paying attention to the noble phantasms and started charging up its own attack. In the next instant, the Beast Emperor 660 SIXS body glowed with a crimson light. A terrifying, bloody energy erupted. Its already immense aura continued to climb. Seeing the Beast Emperor 666 gathering its power, the lowly goddess's eyes narrowed. She immediately unleashed several divine spells, striking the Beast Emperor 666 and forcibly interrupting its power-up. Seeing its attack interrupted, the Beast Emperor 666 roared at the lowly goddess. It sounded as if it was saying, "You sneaky little. 2 against 1, and you're still using dirty tricks? This is outrageous." Just then, my Sisu, having finished charging, suddenly launched a sneak attack of its own against the Beast Emperor 666. In the next instant, 400-meter-long swords struck the Beast Emperor 666. Destructive blue-violet waves of energy radiated from the blades, causing everyone's hearts to pound. Boom! An explosion erupted. Countless bolts of lightning roared from the 4 giant blades. The lightning rained down on the Beast Emperor 666, causing it to howl in pain. Then, the 4 great swords struck the Beast Emperor 660 SXS body, leaving 4 massive wounds. The Beast Emperor 666 howled in agony, its blood splattering everywhere. "Holy Chan now, it's your turn," I immediately shouted to the lowly goddess. Seeing this, the lowly goddess immediately unleashed thousands of divine spells, all sorts of attacks completely engulfing the Beast Emperor 666. Boom! 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 An instant later, a vortex of extremely destructive holy power formed. Then, several beams of golden light erupted, shooting into the sky. This was followed by continuous explosions and the Beast Emperor 660 SXS pained roars. After a moment, the Beast Emperor 660 SXS massive body was severely wounded. Just as the two of them were about to breathe a sigh of relief, the Beast Emperor 666's wounds began to heal rapidly. Its broken body was regenerating at a visible rate. Seeing this scene, the lowly goddess frowned, frustrated. This creature's vitality is outrageous. It seems we can only seal it. Hearing this, I also frowned, staring at the recovering Beast Emperor 666. With such terrifying vitality, it's no wonder Holy Chan was only able to seal the Beast Emperor 666, even at the cost of her own life. It's basically unkillable. It seems I have no choice but to use the Azure Dragon's power. Otherwise, Holy Chan will still die in the war between the three factions. Just as I was about to unleash my trump card, a sudden thought crossed my mind. Wait a minute, didn't I just obtain the Mystic Eyes of Death Perception? How could I forget about this trump card? Then, I looked at the Beast Emperor 666, a look of excitement on my face. Hee, you say you have strong vitality? You have amazing defenses? Let's see if you can survive my causality-defying ultimate weapon. Then, I switched from my Rinnegan to the Mystic Eyes of Death Perception and looked at the lowly goddess. Holy Chan, help me slow it down. As long as I can get close to it, I have a way to deal with the Beast Emperor. Hearing my words, the lowly goddess's mouth twitched. Kyoya, are you kidding? Even I can't kill it. You're saying you can defeat it. I just chuckled. Then, I revealed my Mystic Eyes of Death Perception and described their abilities to her. After hearing about the ability of my eyes, the lowly goddess's eyes widened in astonishment. She couldn't help but stare. To think such mystic eyes exist. How incredible. Understand. I'll restrain the Beast Emperor. Be careful. After saying that, the lowly goddess charged towards the Beast Emperor 666, unleashing the highest level of binding spells. Instantly, the Beast Emperor 666 was restrained, unable to move. At the same time, I focused my Mystic Eyes of Death Perception, seeing the lines of death on the Beast Emperor's body. However, because the Beast Emperor's 660 SXS level and life force were so much higher than mine, the lines and points of death on its body were incredibly thick and seemed to flicker in and out of existence. I needed this sword of promised victory to sever them. Holy Chan, keep it restrained. I'm going in. After shouting a warning to the lowly goddess, I locked onto the lines of death on the Beast Emperor 660 SXS body, memorizing their positions, and then charged forward without hesitation. The restrained Beast Emperor 666, seeing me approach, felt a strong sense of impending doom. It roared and struggled to break free, but had already been severely wounded, and it was still recovering. Plus, with the lowly goddess continued to suppress it with her divine power. It had no chance of escaping. Slash! A sound echoed through the dimension as I used the sword of promised victory to sever the lines of death on the Beast Emperor 660 SXS body with all my might. Even if the Beast Emperor 666 struggled, it couldn't resist its own demise. It vanished from existence, its body dissolving into particles. Chapter 84, First Golden Reward. A great surprise. With its lines of death severed, the Beast Emperor 666 could clearly sense its impending demise. It roared in defiance, but in the end, its body dissolved into particles of light, vanishing into the sky. Ding! Congratulations to the host for slaying the Beast Emperor 666. Reward: 1 gold grade gift bag. Hearing the system notification that the task was complete, I was finally certain that the Beast Emperor 666 was dead. After all, the Beast Emperor 660 SXS life level was higher than mine, and its lines of death had been flickering in and out of existence. I wasn't entirely sure if I had actually managed to kill it. Just as I was letting out a sigh of relief, I suddenly felt a sense of rejection from the surrounding space-time. Rejection. I was startled. Could it be that by killing the Beast Emperor 666, I prevented the lowly goddess from being seriously injured, thus altering the course of future events? But why haven't I been rejected from his timeline? System, what's going on? Ding. Although the host has altered the course of events, as long as you can ensure that the outcome of the Great War between the three factions remains the same, you can still remain in this timeline. I see. Holy Chan, Then, I approached the lowly goddess, intending to reveal my identity, when I was suddenly interrupted. You're from the future, aren't you? The lowly goddess looked at me curiously, surprise evident in her voice. How did you figure that out? I was stunned. I hadn't expected the lowly goddess to see through my identity. Oomph. I'm the strongest goddess. At first, I had my suspicions about your identity, but that space-time rejection is undeniable proof. It seems you interfered in my fight with the Beast Emperor, changing the original outcome of events, and that's why you're experiencing this. Hearing this, the lowly goddess crossed her arms, looking quite proud of her deduction. In fact, if I hadn't intervened, Holy Chan, you would have barely managed to seal the Beast Emperor 666 at the cost of being seriously injured, which would have significantly diminished your power. News of your severe injury would have reached the underworld devils, and the original 4 great Satans of the underworld, leading all the devils, along with the fallen angels, would have launched the final war against heaven. The 2 heavenly dragons, Albion and Drakewold, have suddenly intruded upon the battlefield. The 3 factions would have joined forces to eliminate the 2 heavenly dragons. And you in your weakened state would have forcefully created the Longinus, ultimately dying alongside the 4 great Satans. I explained, revealing the original course of events. The lowly goddess nodded thoughtfully, then asked, "But why haven't you been rejected by this timeline?" she asked. I then explained the situation to her. I see. I must find a way to disappear from everyone's sight during the war between the 3 factions in the future. Find a way to hide. Holy mused. After thinking it over, the lowly goddess smiled and gave her answer. Holy Chan, it's a long time until the present day. Won't you be lonely if you disappear and hide for so long? Also, that's just based on my one-sided account. Aren't you afraid I'm lying to you? How should I put it? After all, you are the one chosen by the sword of the planet, so I decided to trust you. Besides, I've grown tired of life in heaven. I want to follow you and experience some of the joys of this world. The lowly goddess smiled at me, her eyes fixed on mine. Holy Chan, Yuri really too cute. Seeing the lowly goddess like this, I couldn't help but hug her. What are you doing? Suddenly being hugged by me, the lowly goddess froze, not reacting for a moment. At this moment, the lowly goddess widened her eyes, looking incredibly surprised. She had never been hugged like this. The lowly goddess quickly pushed me away, her beautiful face flushed red. But it wasn't from anger, but rather from shyness. Cough, cough. I just couldn't help myself. Holy Chan is just too cute. I couldn't help myself. It's a habit. Just a habit. My words made the lowly goddess's face even redder. She didn't speak immediately, but glanced at me, huffed, and said with a pout, "You are not allowed to treat me like a child. I am a goddess, the strongest goddess." I nodded repeatedly in agreement. Yes, yes, the strongest lowly goddess. The lowly goddess gritted her teeth in annoyance, glaring at me. This insufferable brat. He's teasing me again. Let's go. Come with me back to heaven. The lowly goddess calmed herself and said. Hearing that we were going to heaven, I was a little excited. After all, that was the angels' headquarters. Suddenly remembering something, I quickly said to the lowly goddess, Holy Chan, can you help me conceal my identity? The peace conference between the 3 factions is coming up soon, and I don't want Michael and his angel followers to recognize me. The lowly goddess casually waved her hand, and a holy spell enveloped me. After a moment, when the light faded, the lowly goddess explained, this should do it. Except for those 2, no one will remember your appearance. I nodded in satisfaction. In the blink of an eye, the lowly goddess and I were about to arrive in heaven. During this time, I also opened my first gold reward. System quick, open the gold gift bag. After saying that, I mentally chanted, Amitabha Buddha, bless me. Heaven help me. Earth protect me. Ding. Gold gift bag opened successfully. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 1 life level +1 evolution card. Yes, as expected of a gold gift bag, it was truly high level. It gave me something amazing. Although I was already quite strong, I was still fundamentally human. Even though I had a trace of the true dragon bloodline, it still wasn't enough for me. After all, in different worlds, wasn't just about how strong you were. There were always dangers. Look at Goku from Dragon Ball. He was incredibly powerful, capable of breaking the dimensional barrier. But despite that power, almost died from heart disease once. And even during his fight with Frieza, he was nearly killed by a sneak attack with a small pistol. It was just ridiculous. Therefore, increasing my life level was very important to me. Those with high life levels could even resist curses and causality-based weapons. After all, I plan to travel to other worlds in the future. If I encountered someone else with the mystic eyes of death perception or similar causality weapons, wouldn't I be finished?